Okay, welcome back. So we've obviously had this kind of bombshell announcement that we spoke about previously from Virgin, but actually the kind of the biggest story of the last couple of weeks has been this ongoing strike by the pilots of Network Aviation. And for those of you that are unfamiliar, this is essentially a subsidiary of Qantas or a subsidiary of QantasLink that predominantly does a lot of the FIFO flights in WA.
FIFO and QantasLink regular passenger transport.
Regular passengers. And a lot of it, I call it FIFO. Apparently you call it FIFO.
Yeah. It's,
FIFO's still right though, isn't it?
I've generally heard it pronounced FIFO. I don't know if FIFO is also correct.
But as I'm British, I'm probably saying it correctly. So let's just take that as probably I'm speaking His Majesty's English. So.
Yeah, but I mean, how well has His Majesty been speaking his own English?
He speaks it very well. He speaks it everywhere. Let's not do another joke. Right, let's get into it. What is the situation with these strikes? Because they've been going on for weeks now.
Yeah, so there's like these series of 24-hour rolling strikes that have been extended multiple times over the past couple of weeks. The issue is, the issues are there's been this list of demands that these pilots from the Australian Federation of Airline Pilots have put to Qantas, have put to Network and to Qantas, that Qantas is not meeting. So Qantas is Network Aviation and Qantas, they're offering a 25% pay rise, which AFAP says it would only serve to bring the lowest paid pilots in the Qantas group up to the rates in the Air Pilots Award, which the Fair Work Commission considers to be the bare legal minimum. What the network pilots are looking for is 2-hour sign-on from reserve, up from 90 minutes, 6 a.m. start after a day off instead of 4 a.m., which is what pilots at other QantasLink and Qantas operations get. Duty travel in business class seats where available to improve the opportunity for rest and fatigue management. The same duty hours allowance as for pilots at other Qantas and QantasLink operations. Overtime increased using the same formula as for other Qantas and QantasLink pilots. 10 rostered days off, which is again similar to other Qantas and QantasLink pilots, and a revised rostering appendix providing better rostering rules. Those are the 7 demands that these pilots have put to Network over and over again, they say.
One of the intriguing things about this, which I haven't really seen before in the time I've covered the aviation beat here, is that they essentially kind of announced a couple of days of strikes and then at the very last minute announced that those strikes would be extended, and then as soon as they were over they announced another strike. So everything's happening very much trying to catch Qantas out. Now one of the reasons for this may well be that on the previous occasions there have been these pilot strikes, Qantas have almost tried to kind of break the picket line by flying in their bigger aircraft, flying in other pilots to try to keep the operations going.
And this has happened this time as well.
Yeah, this has happened this time as well. And without telling you the sort of story behind the story, after we had this announcement that the strikes are being extended, we got a very long response from Qantas, a statement sent out to the media outlining how they were going to try and keep things going, which is understandable because they have to keep people in the air. But I would imagine that those tactics have probably riled Network Aviation of rather
probably yes, and you'd have to think that the pilots. I mean, there's apparently there've been reports of these pilots who are flying these 737s and these other planes to break the strike. That like AFAP is or at least pilots or people allied with the union have been blasting this as like scab labor, essentially. You can't imagine that those pilots who are flying those borrowed 737s or those other charter planes are going to be terribly popular with AFAP.
No, it's very true. The other intriguing thing is how, and again, it's not just the FIFO flights, but how FIFO has become so important to major airlines. In the last year, we obviously had Rex kind of expand their reach into that world. We had Qantas attempt to buy Alliance. And essentially what was previously a quiet area of aviation has been seen as more and more important because this is reliable money. We've just come out of COVID. We've obviously got the war in Ukraine. We've got obviously the Israel and Gaza situation. You've got talk that we're into an unstable 10 years kind of geopolitically. And what we know is that almost no matter how bad things get, you will need those flights. They are regularly going to make money. It's nice and safe. So this kind of hurts Qantas quite a lot. And obviously as well, the more disruption that there has on there, the more in danger those kind of contracts, those mining contracts become. And particularly as well, when you are also going after Qantas Link flights, people that really rely on these flights that can't necessarily easily jump on another service, it cuts them very deep. It's hard to know how this is going to end. I think I'm right in saying that Qantas are kind of trying to force the hand by getting the Fair Work.
Yeah, so they've taken an intractable bargaining application to the Fair Work Commission, basically saying, it's been 18 months. We've been negotiating this new agreement. The union's not budging. We can't budge. They've asked the Fair Work Commission to basically step in and sort it out for them.
Mm. Well, we will certainly be keeping on top of this, though it is kind of hard to know where it's going to end.